it's Mrs. Smiley. I wanted to read you another story about bats. And this is one of my favorite stories, especially about bats. It's called Stellaluna. And it's written by Janelle Cannon. It is just a really neat story, and I think you're going to enjoy it. I don't even want to say too much. I just want to get into it, okay? Here we go. It says, in a warm and sultry forest far, far away, there once lived a mother fruit bat and her new baby. Oh, how Mother Bat loved her soft, tiny baby. I'll name you Stellaluna, she crooned. And each night Mother Bat would carry Stellaluna clutched to her breast as she flew out to search for food. So I want you to look at the picture. And can you see her baby? There's Stellaluna holding onto her mommy, and they're out searching for food. One night, as Mother Bat followed the heavy scent of ripe fruit, an owl spied her. On silent wings, the powerful bird swooped down upon the bats. Dodging and shrieking, shrieking means screaming, dodging and screaming, Mother Bat tried to escape. Escape means to get away from. She tried to get away from the owl, but the owl struck her again and again, knocking Stellaluna into the air. Her baby's wings were so limp and useless. They were as useless as wet paper. Down, 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 she went faster and faster into the forest below. So you can look at the picture and see the owl kept knocking her, and she dropped her little baby, Stellaluna, and her little wings just weren't strong enough to fly yet, so she fell down. The dark, leafy tangle of branches caught Stellaluna as she fell. One twig was small enough for Stellaluna's tiny feet. Wrapping her rings about her, she clutched the thin branch, trembling with cold and fear. Mother, Stellaluna squeaked, where are you? But by daybreak, the baby bat could no longer hold on. Down, down again she dropped. Plump! Stellaluna landed headfirst into a soft, downy nest, startling the 3 baby birds who lived there. Stellaluna quickly clambered from the nest and hung out of sight below it. She listened to the babble of the 3 birds. What was that? Cried Flap. I don't know, but it's hanging by its feet, chirped Flitter. Shh, here comes Mama, hissed Pip. There she is. She dropped right into the nest. Many, many times that day, Mama Bird flew away and always returning with food for her babies. Stellaluna was terribly hungry, but not for the crawly things that Mama Bird brought. Finally, the little bat could bear it no longer. She climbed into the nest, she closed her eyes and opened her mouth. Plop! In dropped a big green grasshopper. Now, bats don't eat grasshoppers, but she was hungry. Stellaluna learned to be like birds. She stayed awake all day. She slept at night. She ate bugs even though they tasted awful. Her bat ways were quickly disappearing, except for one thing. Stellaluna still liked to sleep hanging by her feet, upside down. Once when Mama was away, the curious baby birds decided that they would try it too. When Mama Bird came home and she saw 8 tiny feet gripping the edge of the nest, "Eek!" she cried, "Get back up here this instant. You're going to fall and break your necks." And you see the baby birds trying to be like Stellaluna. The birds clambered back into the nest. That means they climbed back into the nest. But Mama Bird stopped Stellaluna. You are teaching my children to do bad things. I will not let you back into this nest unless you promise to obey all the rules of this house. Stellaluna promised. She ate bugs without making faces. She slept in the nest at night, and she didn't hang by her feet. Stellaluna behaved as good birds should. Here's cute little Stellaluna. All the babies grew quickly, and soon the nest became crowded. Mama Bird told them it was time to learn to fly. One by one, Pip, Flitter, Flap, and Stellaluna jumped from the nest. Their wings worked. I'm just like them, thought Stellaluna. I can fly too. There they go. They just jumped and they're flying. Pip, Flitter, and Flap landed gracefully on a branch. Stellaluna tried to do the same. Oh, she's got her legs all stretched out. How embarrassing. Bats can't stand on a branch. They have to hang, right? I will fly all day, Stellaluna told herself, and then no one will see how clumsy I am. The next day, Pip, Flitter, and Flap and Stellaluna went flying far from home. They flew for hours, exercising their new wings. The sun is setting, warned Flitter. We had better go home or we will get lost in the dark, said Flap. But Stellaluna had flown far ahead and she was nowhere to be seen. The three anxious birds went home without her. All alone, Stellaluna flew and flew until her wings ached and she dropped into a tree. I promised not to hang by my feet, Stellaluna sighed, so she hung by her thumbs and she fell asleep. She didn't hear the soft sound of wings coming near her. Now I want you to look and try to make a prediction. What kind of animal is flying near her? Hey, a loud voice said. Why are you hanging upside down? Stellaluna's eyes opened wide. She saw the most peculiar face. I'm not upside down. You are, Stellaluna said. Ah, but you're a bat. Bats hang by their feet. You are hanging by your thumbs, so that makes you upside down, the creature said. I'm a bat. I'm hanging by my feet. That makes me right side up. Stellaluna was confused. Mama Bird told me that I was upside down. She said I was wrong. Wrong for a bird, maybe, but not for a bat, said the other one. More bats gathered around to see this strange young bat who behaved like a bird. Stellaluna told them her story. You ate bugs, stuttered one. You slept at night, gasped another. How very strange, they all murmured. Wait, let me look at this child. A bat pushed through the crowd. An owl attacked you? She asked. Sniffing Stellaluna's fur, she whispered, oh, you are Stellaluna. You are my baby. It was her mother. You escaped the owl? Cried Stellaluna. You survived? Yes, said Mother Bat as she wrapped her wings around Stellaluna. Come with me and I'll show you where to find the most delicious fruit. You'll never have to eat another bug as long as you live. But it's nighttime, Stellaluna squeaked. We can't fly in the dark or we will crash into the trees. We're bats, Mother Bat said. We can see in the darkness. Come with us. Stellaluna was afraid, but she let go of the tree and she dropped into the deep blue sky. Stellaluna could see. She felt as though rays of light shone from her eyes. She was able to see everything in her path. Soon the bats found a mango tree, and Stellaluna ate as much of the fruit as she could hold. I'll never eat another bug as long as I live, cheered Stellaluna as she stuffed herself full. I must help Pip, Flitter, and Flap. She's eating a mango. Yum. The next day, Stellaluna went to visit the birds. Come with me and meet my bat family, said Stellaluna. Okay, let's go, agreed Pip. They hang by their feet and they fly at night and they eat the best food in the world, Stellaluna explained to the birds on the way. As the birds flew among the bats, Flip said, I feel upside down here. So the birds hung by their feet. Wait until dark, Stellaluna said excitedly. We will fly at night. Look at the birds all hanging upside down, trying to be like the bats. Now, wait a minute, make a prediction. Do you think these birds are going to be able to fly at night? When night came, Stellaluna flew away. Pip, Flitter, and Flap leapt from the tree to follow her. I can't see a thing, yelled Pip. Neither can I, howled Flitter. Eek! Screeched Flap. They're going to crash, gasped Stellaluna. I must rescue them. Stellaluna swooped about, grabbing her friends in the air. She lifted them up to a tree, and the birds grasped a branch. Stellaluna hung from the limb above them. There she is, saving them. Yeah, they couldn't see anything. We're safe, said Stellaluna, and then she sighed. I wish you could see in the dark, too. We wish you could land on your feet, Flitter replied. Pip and Flap nodded. They perched in silence for a long time. How can we be so different and feel so much alike? Mused Flitter. And how can we feel so different and be so much alike? Wondered Pip. I think this is quite a mystery, Flap chirped. I agree, said Stellaluna, but we're friends, and that's a fact. There they are, and I think this is such a sweet picture. They all have their wings wrapped around each other. A big hug. And that's the end of the story. There's just notes at the end that the author puts in here. I'm not going to read all these, but she gives a lot of true facts about bats. And some of those we read in Night Flyers. And so in this story, we learned a few things about bats and birds and how they're different and how they're alike. We learned that bats like to eat fruit. She's a fruit bat. She doesn't eat bugs. The types of bugs especially that the little birds were eating. We also learned that when she's resting, she's hanging upside down because she's a bat. But birds don't rest like that. They sit on top of a branch or in a nest. We learned a lot of different things about what bats do. Bats can fly at night because they have echolocation, so they can see. Remember, we learned about that in our other book too. But the birds can't do that. So if the birds try to fly at night, what's going to happen to them? They're going to run into things, run into trees. They could get hurt. So there's a lot of differences between birds and bats. But it was a sweet story. And it was so nice to find out that her mommy did survive the owl attack and that she was reunited with her bat family too, but she still kept her friends. So this would be a fun time to, maybe draw a picture of the different characters in the story. Her 3 bird family members, and then maybe Stellaluna or her mother, whatever you choose. But I hope you enjoyed the story, Stellaluna, boys and girls. Have a good day.